Good morning. Time for coffee with Pastor Matt. I watched the press conference yesterday that the president had with the coronavirus task force, and he said something that I found myself in complete agreement with, which isn't always the case. But what he said was he missed baseball. Yeah, I miss baseball too. In fact, I've been watching games that are 25 and 30 years old, games I watched the first time. And amazingly, I can't remember how they ended, but I'm watching them anyway because they were great games and I enjoyed it. We moved to Maryland in 1967, 68 rather, I should say, from Boston. I'd been up in Boston and been a Red Sox fan for, what I could remember most of my life. My mother had been a Red Sox fan too. And so we moved down there and we moved to Maryland just outside of Baltimore. And I was used to, watching successful teams. And the Orioles had not been, over the years, a really successful team. But they kind of turned things around in the late 60s there. And in 1968, they finished second in the American League. 1969, they went to the World Series, lost the World Series. But that started kind of a run. They won the World Series in 70. They lost it in the 71, but that meant that they were always in the playoffs and always, doing well. And continued that really through the 70s. 79, they made it back to the World Series, lost again. Should have won that World Series. I'm sorry, but that one they should have won. I think they should have won 71 too. And then came back and in 83, they did win the World Series again. So I was used to rooting for a successful team. Then the 80s came along. And things got really bad. And the 90s, even worse. In fact, if I remember correctly, and I'm looking at the record here now because I wanted to be absolutely certain of this, but it was, 1988, 54 and 107. And then, of course, 2019, we were 54 and 108. So we've had a couple of successful years in between, but for the most part, it's been pretty rough. People often ask me why I like baseball. What is it about baseball that you like? And I like baseball because it matches my theology. I think it does what the Bible says is going to be likely to happen. I'm reading Psalm 77, and you look at the words of the psalmist here, and he says, I cried out to God for help. I cried out to God to hear me when I was in distress, and my soul refused to be comforted. Yeah, that's how most of us who are Oriole fans felt in the mid to late 90s and up through the first part of the 2000s. Our souls could not be comforted. We were losing, and we cried out all the time for distress. A lot of times that's the way we feel in our lives, that so many things are going wrong, so many things are not happening the way we would like them to happen. People aren't being good to us. People are abusing us. People are taking advantage of us. People might even be angry with us and really quite malevolent toward us. And our souls cry out for distress. We cry out to God, and it almost feels as though He does not hear us. But I'm glad for the words of the psalmist that don't end there. The psalmist says, and then I thought, to this I will appeal. I will appeal to the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the deeds of the Lord. I will remember your miracles. I will meditate on your works and consider all your mighty ways and all your mighty deeds. When we think that things are not going the way that we would like them to go, we need to remember God is still God. And we are still going to have our times of victory, and we're going to have our times of defeat. But God is going to be with us every step of the way. He will not abandon us. He will not forsake us. He will remain with us. And He is our God. He is our rock. He is our refuge. And maybe He'll help us get that number one draft choice that'll turn the whole team around, huh? I know that's going to happen someday. God bless you today. Have a great day. Know that I love you and I'm praying for you. Take care.